I'm Rich DeMarco with the Army Football Report. In just a moment, we'll talk with Black Knights first-classman linebacker Thomas Holloway. But up first, here are comments from Rich Ellerson's weekly news conference previewing Saturday's game against Louisiana Tech in Dallas.
We're hurting. You know, we're frustrated, but good news is we get to play this week. We're excited to play, anxious to get started in our preparation tomorrow. La Tech brings a lot to the table. They spread you out on offense. They got a couple of quarterbacks that they played in the first couple of games. I think the freshmen started and played the whole game against Kansas, and they really outplayed Kansas last week. We struggle with those unforced errors, although some of the errors that were forced last week. They've hurt themselves with some unforced errors the last couple of weeks. So we're both talking to ourselves a little bit, but we're determined to get this thing done. AJ's not going to be able to practice much during the week. He got rolled up on a little bit there. So, it's going to continue to be competitive. We'll just have to see where everybody is as we get toward the end of the week. Our heads are down. We're thinking about this football game, this opportunity. It's all that matters. There are some things, again, this is not all happening in a vacuum. We talked about some play. I feel like I did a poor job offensively with respect to what we had to accomplish last week, as we were trying to, again, mitigate some of the missing pieces in the offensive backfield. We needed to have another plan for that nose tackle. Now, we'd been playing against good nose tackles for the last couple of weeks, and certainly we weren't necessarily getting the best of it, but I did not see that coming. And so we didn't have enough built-in offense where we could, double team him every snap. We were successful, I think, on the defensive side of the ball of adding some things and adjusting some things that helped us get through some tough personnel moment. We failed to do that offensively, obviously. You've heard me talk about this. We can eliminate those because some of those 4th and 2s and 4th and 3s are first downs if we don't have a 5-yard penalty and we can stay on the field. So we're going to have to continue to improve. Offensively, we're going to be looking at some things that we've been looking at since last spring in preparation for our season. There's some wrinkles about them. They're a little bit unique. There's some things that are going to be unique about every opponent. Offensively, we got to get back to being ourselves. As I said, we're going to have to adjust and adapt to whatever we get from them defensively, because we're not likely to get what we've got in the last few weeks, and we're not necessarily going to nail it in terms of our preparation through the course of the week. So but that comes at a good time for us, because I think some of the things that we've been talking around here that are driving us crazy, that are keeping us from being productive on offense, are some very fundamental things, some operational things that have slipped away from us. And as we've tried to manage some internal things, but this is pushing us back to square one a little bit.
That's Army head coach Rich Ellerson. Time now to spend a couple of moments with Army first-classman linebacker Thomas Holloway. And Tom, a tough loss on Saturday as one of the leaders on this team, one of the seniors. What type of mindset does this group have leading up until Saturday's game against Louisiana Tech?
I think that we're just eager. We're ready to put this game behind us, learn, and take away the things that we need to take away from our experience on Saturday. There are some good things and some bad things, but there are some things that we're proud of on defense. We need to capitalize on those experiences, and we need to look forward to what we have next week, game plan accordingly, work hard like we always do, and make sure we have our eyes set forward on the challenge ahead.
Thomas, you talked about the positives on defense. You go against the Louisiana Tech team, which Rich Ellerson said they're a young team, not 100% sure what you're going to see from them offensively. How do you go about preparing for the Bulldogs?
We're going to do what we do every week. We're going to respect them like we do with every opponent. We're going to study the film. We're going to listen to our coaches because they know what's best. As far as their specific game plan, we are not expecting too much of a deviation from what we saw the past week from Wake Forest. I've looked at a little bit of film myself, and I know that some of the stuff they do is similar, maybe slightly less complicated, which is a relief for us. So like I said, we're just going to work hard, game plan accordingly, and be ready for Saturday.
When you look at the young players on this team, and as a leader and as a captain, you have to bring them along. What type of message are you giving to them this week heading into this game?
That there's a lot of things that happen during the course of the season, and just like Coach says, We got to look forward to the next game. We got to look forward to the next challenge to get better. And I think that the young guys on this team are very talented, extremely talented, and bring a lot of energy to the table. So what we have to do is to make sure that we are pushing them in the right direction, that we are holding them accountable for their assignments and making sure that they're doing the right things on and off the field. And if we do that, then we'll be just fine. We'll be set for Saturday.
Well, Thomas, thanks for a couple of minutes. Best of luck in the rest of your preparation, and of course on Saturday at the Cotton Bowl against Louisiana Tech.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That's Army first-classman linebacker Thomas Holloway joining us here on the Army Football Report. For Night Vision, I'm Rich DeMarco.